Welcome to LIT3060 titled Introduction to Comparative Literature. This is a course that is required of every majors in French and Spanish in our department, and also potentially for as an elective for minors. So let me talk about the discipline of comparative literature to get started. Lots of you might think it's a little mysterious that you have to take a course like this with such a fancy name as comparative literature without even quite knowing what it means and why we are requiring you to take it. But I want to talk a little bit about what comparative literature is as a discipline. First, it starts at the beginning of the 19th century, around 1820, that in Europe, they come up with the term comparative literature, right? Because there's a need to communicate between different cultures, right? And people get together in the universities to come up with this new discipline, which, as we will see during the course of the semester, is not so new, right? There's been other moments in time where people have come together to understand the need for cultural differences and similarities through literature, and then in the 20th century also through film. So comparative literature will start becoming a discipline in European universities by the second half of the 19th century, and then in American universities in the 20th century. So what the discipline does is to educate students to understanding cultural differences and similarities. The good old compare and contrast, but at a higher level, because a lot of theory is going to come into the picture. And this course is an overview at the same time as an introduction to the history, right? Because we will be taking it in a chronological order of what the discipline has come to be, right? So since you're taking a language and you've decided to major in it, you probably already have 2 or 3 languages under your belt and potentially learning a fourth. That's what usually comparatives do, right? Because they need to have several languages, to master several languages in order to have access to several literary traditions in order to become those cultural ambassadors, right? Whether you're going to be an educator in the future or whether you want to work in another field, maybe diplomacy or some kind of other cultural mission. This is a good course, a base course, an introduction to a new way to understand cultural connections.